Trent brought us this 91 foxbody from New Lexington, Ohio. Fresh build. Very clean install. Hey, it's a Ford. It's a Ford and a Ford. Awesome. Very clean build. And he brought it up to us to help make it go straight. Thank you, Trent, for bringing us your car. We appreciate you. This is gonna be fun. Notchback. I don't know whose wheels those are. Billet Specialties. It's a good looking wheel. Alright, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today we're doing an initial setup on a freshly built drag car. This is drag and drive, cruise it to where you go, and run the races, and then cruise to the next place and run the races. Pretty cool car. We'll look it over here in a minute. I'm going to start. My first adjustment is going to be ride height. It's sitting a half-inch different side to side in the back and almost a full inch different side to side in the front. I'm probably going to just even the rears out at the lower settings. I'm going to probably drop the nose altogether an inch because it'll allow me to have extra up travel on lift and it'll look more aggressive. So we'll stuff the front tire a little. But let me get that done, and then we'll check for rack center. I think the steering wheel's off. We'll try and reclock that on the coupler from the rack to the steering shaft to get our steering wheel straight after we square up our rack to the chassis. Bump steer adjustments. We'll check pinion angle and make sure the back end's square, all that. Let me get the heads hung up on this thing. We'll get it balanced out. It's a mess. Not surprised. Not surprised. Let's see what we have to work with. There's lots of adjustability to this guy. Nice stuff. Get more camber out of that with the knuckle. Alright, I would probably have to machine that knuckle a little bit to get the camber where I want it. The caster's dead even, but I'm going to add more caster to it in the lower control arm because I think I'm already pushed back as far as I can go on the top. Strut adjusters, which I'll check those right after I do bumpsteer. Let's see what this girl does on lift. Wheels are starting to release. 4 degrees, toe out. I bet that would be fun coming down. Which way is it gonna go? So that's on lift. Static. Not bad, not bad. Let's make some improvements. Let's put our longer bolts in. See where we need to be. We're clearly not in alignment. My rack looks a little bit off, so let's get those squared up and get our bump steer bolts switched out. You can see I added a substantial amount of shim, basically a thick shim and a first thinner than the big thick shim. I think I'm still needing a little bit more, but I also got my tie rod ends evened out within probably 1/8 of an inch. They were offset quite a bit, which means I can loosen this collet, take this jam nut off, and then I'll reclock the steering wheel by just sliding it up, rotating it, reinstalling it, and then reinstalling the collet and jam nut. This is all Racecraft stuff. Really nice kits, really nice parts. I'm going to add caster by lengthening this joint on both sides equally once I get the bump steer set up. I don't think it'll make a changed bump steer, but I'll be interested to know that once I make that adjustment. It should just be rotating it forward. It will make a change to toe, but moving it forward will also allow me to shorten my tie rod ends and get better thread engagement on my turnbuckle. So all good things. Let's see what it does on lift now. It was going 4 degrees out. A lot better. Now we're only like 4/10 of a degree toe out, so we're really close. See, my toe out on lift is pretty minimal, but we want that to go positive, so I'll add another shim. We were at 1/2 degree. Let's just put a thin shim in and see what it does. Add those into it. See what it does on them. That's so satisfying. So now we have negligible change on lift. So that's about as good as you're gonna get right there. Alright, let's add some caster, make some adjustments to ride height. Drop his nose probably 3/4 of an inch or more, and that'll give us that much more lift. Going down the track for directional stability. So these Racecraft control arms have adjustability built into them. I'm going to lengthen the rear on both rod ends the same length, which will push my ball joint forward, giving me additional caster. We like caster, it gives us stability. It will also probably allow me to shorten my tie rod ends up just a little bit, which will give me better thread engagement, and that's good as well because we like it to be locked together. Alright, so I lengthened my rear joint 4 turns on each side. We're going to kind of start over with a fresh compensation and see where everything sits. My rack's nice and square to the chassis. It's looking pretty good. My bump steer turned out really nice. I can lock that down finally. So I can make the cross camber more even. I'm going to have to grind the knuckle for that. These cars don't really care about the camber. They just change through the sweep, but I like stuff to be even. So about 4 inches of rise. These are not long travels, but it's still pretty good. Toe is negligible. I'm gonna give it just a little more shim, I think. Because it's like 0 change, but I want it to go positive just a little bit. So we're gonna add one more shim to our bump steer. All right, so I made some adjustments to my camber. I got that within 2/10, so I'm happy with that now. I'll have to pull it apart and grind the hole out when I'm done. I'll show you that here in a minute. The toe looks good. I'm gonna dial some more caster into it since I can. I'm gonna take it out another 2 full turns in the back on both arms. Right, I think we are good to go. I gotta pull the left front wheel off and grind my knuckle so that I can put the big bolt back in. But our toe in on turns is good, less than a ½ degree. And everything else looks pretty good. I was able to get almost 5 degrees of caster because of the Racecraft lower control arms that are adjustable. I still have a full diameter of the rod engagement in the sleeve, so happy with my connecting components, because those caster rods take a lot of they have a lot of force on them. You want them to be strong. Rack square. Let me straighten the steering wheel out. It'll just take a few minutes to reclock the steering shaft to the rack, and then I'll get this thing off the rack. It's gonna be a ripper. So you can see I use a smaller bolt in the lower position, which allows me to adjust camber into it, and then I just take the lower bolt out. I can grind my clearance so that the big bolt fits. That way if it comes down hard, it's not going to shift. You could probably just leave the smaller bolt in there and have a gap, but I like having the bigger bolts. And we'll grind away the heavy metal. It's going to take a minute. Hey, winning! Got a huge mess to clean up. Put that back in my bag of tricks. This engine bay is a work of art, by the way. Coil on plug, 5.8 liter Ford. AFR Renegade heads. Just beautiful. Twin turb skis. Very, very nice build, guys. Love it. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, look for this car on the track. See you on the next one. Ready to pull her out?
I think so, sir.
Yeah, let's do her on the way.
Turn out all right?
Yeah, I think you're going to be real happy. We made a lot of little changes that will add up to, you know, some kind of substantial change. I think your steering wheel is going to be pretty close to straight, and it might be a lot off a little here or there, but I think I've got it lined up right. It's not a big deal. You just loosen the column at the base of the column.
The question he asked is if you happen to put different struts in front, you'll come back.
Yeah, you'll want to have it looked at again because you're going to have more travel with long struts. If you just unbolt it from the hat and slide it out, it'll be really close, so it won't.
I didn't know whether.
And the first setup is always.
Well, because that's only going to mess with camber, correct?
Well, but the connection to the knuckles are elongated as well. So
Okay.
Because I did grind the driver's side knuckle to get better because my caster ended up within 2/10 side to side. My caster was within 1/10, and I got you almost 5 degrees cast, which is a lot for
How much
5
do the fixed plates get you?
up top?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Oh, I thought they got you. They were trying for non-mechanical.
Oh, that might be a different one than what I'm familiar with.
The one you have to actually like take a whole saw and kind of blow out back.
Oh, then yeah, you're gonna add more to it with that.
I had fixed on the other car, but I said, man, I don't really like it too well.
Yeah, I mean these you adjust all the way back and all the way in.
And were you able to leave the control arm all the way in? Or did you have to move the adjusters on in?
The forward link on the control arm I stayed all the way in, and the rear one I turned out as far as I felt comfortable. I basically have the thread contact is just a hair more than the diameter of the piece, and then I locked it down. But that added 2.5 degrees of casting, which is huge.
Now, everything I've read is caster's your friend no matter what. Casters drive really nice and speed.
Caster's your friend. Like if you can hit 90 degrees, it's great. But on like the track cars, like the street, like Mid Ohio Raceway type stuff, anything more than 6 degrees is excessive. It just adds to the driver fatigue. So. I'll let you back her out.
All right, sir.
I had the left front wheel off. I did retort the lugs to 100 foot-pounds.